OnlyCans, as you may know, is an online platform for explicit, spicy content. It has as many as 130 million users, and much of its success has been attributed to the sense of connection the subscription-based model gives consumers during the pandemic. What you find on OnlyCans is not always exactly corn, at least not in the traditional sense, but it's not corn. Much like Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart said of corn back in 1964, I know it when I see it. And if you're on OnlyCans for a few minutes, even seconds, you'll certainly see some. Generally speaking, men tend to consume more corn compared to women. There's an emerging evidence that men are at the center of a larger loneliness epidemic, which women think is all our fault, of course, because we're not marriageable enough.
Well, the OF.
Yeah.
In reality, with the size of women today, it's refrigerator porn. And they're just showing you their shelves and drawers. That's it.
I really don't want to know what's in the crisper.
Yeah, because
just so we're clear,
curvy used to be like curvy. Now curvy is like curvy, and roomy is the entire room.
Yeah, and Frigidaire is when it starts dripping from the freezer into the fridge, and you use your own imagination as to what kind of a euphemism you want to put with that.
Or it could be poop wound seepage.
All the eyes look void.
I almost got you.
Poop wound pass denied.
I almost got you.
That was a good one.
I almost spit. That's awesome.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that'd be a great one for the Troons instead of only cans. You do only trans, and then you have a poop wound patrons.
Transanity.
Francois, thank you so much for coining that.
Oh my God,
term.
that was awesome.
It was beautiful.
Dude.
Well, even if he didn't coin it, it's the first time I've heard it,
Yes.
and I think it's beautiful.
No, I'm using that forever.
Forever. It's really good. I like that one. So data from Pew Research indicates 63% of men under 30 are single by choice. So how is that a loneliness epidemic if it's by choice?
Well, okay. I think they're single by choice because the women of this generation, let's just be honest, they're canker, sore swamp donkey buttholes.
It's just exhausting.
He's waiting for me to drink when he says this shit. You ass.
I'm not trying. I mean, this is how I talk. But I mean, we have girls going across the stage for high school with the thousand cock stare.
You ain't kidding.
And then when you hear, if you date a woman that's in college and she says she's part of a sorority, you can automatically inflate her body count by 30 to 40%.
There you go.
All right. Usually women go to college, and from freshman to senior year, they'll average anywhere between 12 and 15 bodies.
Yep.
Add a prostitute sandwich on top of that, you're coming up on 18 to 22. I'm just saying.
It's just
and once a woman goes over 5, she loses her ability to pair bond.
Yeah, man. I mean, you could just imagine all the different salad dressings mixing up in there. It
Stop.
reminds me of using the shop vac to suck out all the freaking leftover cheese and ranch and all the stuff at Olga's. And then you know what happens if you forget to wash out the shop vac? It all coagulates and gets curdly. Yeah. And bacterial vaginosis.
Then you got to clean it out with lemon juice. What were you saying, Dave?
So what you're saying is by sophomore year, a lot of them, it's over.
Yeah, they can't even pair bond.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
They have lost the ability to pair bond by the time they're 16.
Yeah, and
it's just ridiculous.
Well, and also remember when you were young. We all remember when we were young, and we were just fucking on it. All you did is think about pussy, tits, tits, wind blows, book block, ba, ba, ba. I mean,
just hammering ass 24/7, 365.
Well, if you could, you would.
Yeah.
Literally, you like, and you got used to being, hey, how you doing? Oh, you hate me? Okay. Hey, how you doing? Oh, all right. I'm ugly. Okay. What about you? Oh.
The rejection's our default setting.
It's our, but
just go on to the next.
It is absolutely insane.
They're like a bus. There'll be another one along in a minute.
That it has gotten so bad where men are literally suppressing this primal mating urge because the women out there are that atrocious.
if they when you have things like Passport Bros and the MGTOW movement and whatnot, the final seal, the final nail, so to speak, in the coffin, once you legalize prostitution, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
They all these chicks are gonna have to develop a personality and keep it closed. And I'm not trying to be funny, but that's literally
personality. What's that?
I don't know, man. But the thing is like a lot of these women have that instinct, driving them to look for the bigger and the better thing.
Oh yeah.
And
they think now that like OnlyCans has become literally the #1 career path for women right out of high school. I'm assuming it used to be waitressing.
Hooters.
I mean, either way, you're serving some shit up on a platter, but this is bad.
I'm 55, and I know about 3 women who worked in the stripper industry when they were like 19 to like 24-ish.
Now it's the majority.
They are still single today.
Of course, because no man is going to write a check against that.
Yeah,
no self-respecting man is going to write a check.
All 3 of them all made a play for the pop star, and I was like,
no, thank you.
We're cool and everything, but no, I can't do it.
No,
not on a permanent basis.
Yeah.
I'm not signing that check.
Yeah. Not when you bring the state in.
Yeah, no. the decline is the only line they haven't snorted off of somebody's cack.
And it's horrible, but that's just the way it is. And unfortunately, the media and the feminazis out there have brainwashed the young girls of today, thinking that there will be no consequences for these actions.
Yeah, it's so much easier to try to literally reprogram men's thinking meat as a blanket hole. To just sex work is real work, and my body count doesn't mean anything. And if you don't think so, then you're outdated. You're a traditionalist. You're toxic. Blah 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 blah. No,
and they only say that up until the point where you pull out the checkbook and the pen, and then they're like, "Oh no, we'll do whatever you want. You're a nice guy. Yeah, fuck you."
Yeah,
look, listen, if I have my way, I'm bringing the marriage rate to fucking 0. I am sick and tired of young men out there getting hooked up with these Wamalo, empty, bottomless Bermuda Triangle vaginal kill dishes. And then literally it's killing men hand over fist, and nobody's talking about it.
And it's actually not good for the economy. If you look at how household debt is and who spends it and on what and where it's at, it's actually it's incentivized to behave recklessly, to spend recklessly, and then to go and basically profit off of it. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yep.
F it in the A. Now this next paragraph here is where shit gets really interesting. And I think it kind of flies in the face of what all of us would think makes sense in this capacity. Some experts blame social media and corn for this decline in connection. Given that OnlyCans represents the intersection of the two, it would make sense that lonely single men would be driving the company's success. It is a convenient theory. The only problem is that the opposite seems to be true. A majority of OnlyCans subscribers are married men. Ooh. So the platform may be less an antidote to loneliness and more of a fidelity cheat code. Oh, you mean like polyamory, which is primarily instigated by women.
All right. First of all, if you guys go to Reddit and search for my name on there, you will come across the polyamory page.
Yeah, the polyamory is narcissism episode is one of my all-time favorites.
But the people in the comments are like, too bad he didn't die in Iraq. Yeah, like
they don't like you too much.
They don't like me at all.
Because, well, that's
care.
They have to resort to that because they can't negate.
There's no logical argument. There's no logical argument against it. Of course they hate it.
It's full-blown narcissism.
In every one of our videos, we have the sources, the studies. We tell the truth. And that type of lifestyle does not work unless...
No. And within 5 years, 40% of them get an STI.
Oh, no. Unless you're a sheik, you have a harem, a bunch of eunuchs who have had their balls cut off to make sure nobody messes with that harem.
Genghis Khan.
Other than that, it will never work out.
Correctamundo.
I'm not... never is a big word. How about we say a majority of the time, it's going to implode in your face.
Figuratively and literally.
And your only parting gift will be herpagona syphilades and maybe a kid that you may or may not think is yours.
Doesn't matter. You're still going to be paying.
There you go.
There you go.
All she has to do is hide it from you for 2 years.
2 years and a day.
But don't you love how this is a Fidelity cheat code for the married men, but for the ladies who insist on pushing polyamory on their simp husbands? Well, you just lack emotional intelligence if you don't think you can be polyamorous.
Well, here's the thing.
You're suppressing me. You're using outdated cultural norms to suppress my sexuality. Oh, it's such a toxic patriarchy. Where?
Then just leave.
Yeah.
Just leave.
Go.
Listen, if you're with a woman and she starts talking like that, like we need to spice up our relationship. Maybe we should invite a third person.
You want to spice up our relationship? Fine, I'll put a scorpion pepper in your cunt. How does that sound?
If she's coming at you with that brazen, either A, she's already lost respect for you, or B, there's somebody already there.
Yes.
There you go.
Well,
yeah, as soon as she introduces the concept of sleeping with other people, she has either already done it or she's at least picked somebody out.
Correct.
Yeah, that's just, you just need to be like,
because by the time women start talking about shit, they've already laid the groundwork to plan.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
They've got the blueprint.
They've already manufactured different dramatizations of how it's going to go in their head 48 different ways. Or 69 if you prefer.
But what they're not expecting is what you should probably do is look at it and be like, let me think about this. And then go into your account and go hire an attorney.
Yes.
And get out.
That's right.
Bye-bye.
Get the hell out of there.
Done and done.
Be the plaintiff.
Yes.
Reward yourself.
Now, you would always agree, Pop, that a majority just has to be 51%, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, it could just be 51%, right? After this survey, which admittedly is a small sampling group, 335 men, 383 women ages 18 to 71. But with that kind of an age spread, I mean, the law of mathematical averages does apply unless you're stupid enough to believe that the 2020 election was legitimate.
Yes.
Researchers found that subscribers on average were 63% male, 68% white, 89% married. So even if you factor in the law of averages where it can go 5% in either direction, you're still talking about a super majority of OnlyCans subscribers being married dudes.
So it isn't a bunch of simstitutes.
No, it's married dudes.
11% of them are actual simps.
Yeah. 59% identifying as hetero, 37% as bi or pan. The latter finding may sound unusually high, but a 2022 Gallup poll revealed that bi squared individuals, make up a majority of the alphabet demographic, 57%.
But just look at that stat, 89%.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That tells me, at least this is strictly my opinion, that marriage today is obsolete and dead.
It just that's not sustainable on either end.
No,
it's bad.
And 89% of these dudes who are married are actual master debaters.
No,
they're doing marriage wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
It's crazy.
It's actually kind of sad.
It is.
It is. It's very much. So 82% overall were either in a romantic and or sexual relationship. These researchers concluded that the content had a more positive impact on users' relationships and sex lives than a negative one. Here's where the propaganda comes in.
Logic damning.
Many participants in our study reported expansions of their experiences, including new sexual configurations and relationship configurations, explains Marie Littman, shocker, a chick who's an associate professor of psychology. That's totally a real science at California State University.
By that word configuration?
Basically a reconfigure. Instead of 2 people in a relationship, you get 3 people in a relationship.
I was just gonna what? Is it 4 tits and 2 pussies, or is it 2 tits and 2 dicks? Or because it's all gay sex with a witness.
Most of the time, these polyamory situations turn into finger cuffs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, they start off. They bait you in with, "I have a friend, and we can bring her in. It'll be so much fun."
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, "Well, okay, 2 is better than 1, I guess."
Okay.
And before you know it, well, we brought her in. Now we're bringing in Darius.
I mean, just think about the message that sends to you as a man. When your woman's like, "Oh, I want to bring another woman into this." Okay. She doesn't desire you. That's
Correct.
the first thing that you should hear, because if the idea of you plowing another chick doesn't disgust her to her core, she doesn't desire you, and she never did.
True.
She's looking for, she's opening the escape hatch so she can monkey branch to the next Kiyaka.
And still use your wallet.
Yep. There's a reason we made the 3-way survival guide. And the polyamory is narcissism episodes. If you haven't watched them, check them out. Trust me, definitely worth your time.
Yep.
Anything that pisses off that many Redditors has to be worth your time.
You know you're doing something right when you're getting that much flack.
You're damn right. That's amazing. And then, of course, you have this nonsense here. Past studies of OnlyCans have shown consistent results. About 1/3 of 822 partnered individuals admitted to fantasizing about consensual non-monogamy, with most wanting to try it. Instead of breaking up marriages, Littman believes that OnlyCans may reflect changing views about marriage and relationships. She's working on a follow-up study that investigates this theory, which I'm sure she already has a preconceived conclusion for, that she's going to cherry pick the results
listen,
of.
all right. I was only married for 6.5 years before, my ex turned into a...
She scratched your 7-year itch.
Yeah, she scratched her 7-year itch with a wood chipping machine. Took all kinds of logs, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. And like when it first happened, I was like, okay, if maybe we can work through this. And then once I dug into it, because that's how I am, people are like, well, now that you know, don't dig into it. It'll only give you more pain. That's what ordinary people say.
Yeah.
I am not an ordinary individual. So if I'm going to have to eat shit, I'm going to eat the whole fucking bowl at one sitting, and I'm not going to I'm just going to end it. Because most guys in ordinary land, they find out their old lady's cheating on them, and then that's the first bite of shit.
Yeah.
And then, they find something else and something else. So they're like, and it could go on for fucking years. 10 years of eating shit. No, just do it once, get it over with, get on with your life.
Yep. That's why then they smile. It looks like caramel corn.
I'm just saying.
It's quite disgusting, actually, now that I visualize it. My bad. Now we can definitely tell where this person comes from here with their so-called study. Despite stereotypes about men who watch corn, addiction is not considered to be a valid psychiatric diagnosis.
That is absolutely incorrect.
It is absolutely incorrect. Oh, it gets worse.
Okay.
Wait. That said, more problematic corn has been linked to more religious upbringings and the baggage it may bring. Like corn in general, there's little reason to believe that OnlyCans content is psychologically and universally harmful to those who use it, except the absolute mountain of research going back decades.
It's porn.
Well, first of all,
destroys you. What the fuck?
I mean, porn is literally,
Woo!
If you get crazy with it, you actually lose at least is what I've read. You lose your desire for the actual real thing.
And you can lose your function.
Correct.
Which is, that's going to happen with age anyway. Why would you front load it with a bunch of corn usage?
Yeah.
Hot damn.
Same thing with women. I mean, they get on those electric tools and, they're killing all kinds of nerve cells down there in their mixed up junk.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. God, that's horrible.
Oh, that'll be a hilarious video follow-up later on the Fucked Up and Funny segment.
It reminds me of a dude I was in the army with who watched porn all the time. And he always had this one tape. He'd watch it over and over again.
Why?
And I remember we walk into his hooch and he's watching it. I look over and there's a person with a drill with a dildo on it. And like stuff is flying off. And I'm like,
no! Why?
I'm like,
hot.
I had another dude next to me. We walk in. He's just like, are we serious? This is disgusting. Turn that shit off.
Ring, ding, 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 ding.
I'm serious. Every time I hear about I remember that.
Yeah. these ladies, that they get something that requires like jumper cables and a car battery, and then they use it on their downstairs mix-up, which is littered with more nerve endings than you can find virtually anywhere else on their body.
Correct.
And then they wonder why a biological penis no longer does the job.
Yeah.
Well, let's just put it this way. You ever, cut down bushes with a chainsaw or even just a hedge trimmer?
Mhm.
You do that for maybe 15, 20 minutes, half hour tops, typically, if you're not like a lumberjack and you do it all day, every day. How long does it take for you to get feeling back in your hands?
About a half an hour.
Yeah. So let's say you start compounding such damage in a very sensitive area, sometimes for a half hour to an hour at a time, or if you're one of these bitches on OnlyCans, hours a day.
Yep.
Sooner or later, it's basically just going to throw in the bullshit towel and you're done.
That's pretty much how it works.
Oh, no man can satisfy me. I need to have toys. I need to have this and that. I don't know why this woman sounds like Hank Hill. I need toys and this and that. No man can satisfy this pussy. I wash it in the sink. I have to use the little hand hose. Shh. That's the only way I can reach all my crevasses.
You sound just like him.
Boom hour in the corner. No, I don't like the sound of that at all. I really don't. This is bad. One last bit before we move on to the next article here. You guys are welcome to read all of these in their entirety. Everything's on redonkulous.com. Lightums and Littman's work suggests that secretive subscriptions in committed relationships actually do not reflect the majority of users. As for men who utilize OnlyCans with the consent of their partners, pivoting to paywalled content can be a way to ensure that performers are profiting. What that has to do with the secretive subscription thing, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's also possible that the platform is less stigmatized than its free corn competitors. You wish. For example, Beyonce mentioned OnlyCans in her 2020 remix of Savage, and actress Bella Thorne earned $1 million from her first day on the site.
How many years has it been around?
It's been around for a while, but it didn't start really gathering steam until 2020.
Okay.
I want to say it was originally started in like 2017. It was bought by an investor a couple years later, and then this.
So it's not even a decade into it.
Yeah. Welcome to current year.
All right.
So on the other hand, the 2021 study revealed that OnlyCans creators and women who are involved in sex work are frequently targets for harassment, dehumanization, and prejudice. No. It's not harassment, dehumanization, and prejudice to accurately assess that sex workers might as well just cash it in now.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
It's
not dehumanizing to tell you that your actions will have consequences.
You'll never be a wife or a mother.
That's exactly
Well, no,
it.
they could be a mother.
They could be a mother, yeah.
Well, okay, they'll never be a mom.
They'll-
They'll never be a wife or mom.
That they'll walk through the popsicle aisle, say hi to daddy.
Well, I'm sure there's some women out there that'll be able to keep it secret. Because most men, once they find out that the woman that they're with has been engaged in that craziness, it does pretty much turn stuff off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're not turning it back on.
Yeah.
Nope. Same thing when they cheat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, and a lot of times, like the women will be like, "Oh, you're just spiteful or whatever." It's like, no, you don't understand. I'm genuinely not physically attracted to you.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
The sexless marriages. You just did a whole layer on it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
25 to 50% of marriages are sexless as of 2022.
Okay, first of all, if you are in a sexless marriage, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Because somebody lied to you, manipulated you, and only wanted you for your provisions.
Yep.
Unfortunately, listen, when you're young, remember when you would go to like wedding receptions and the old guy would walk up to you and go, "Don't ever get married." They're trying to save you because they are stuck with probably a sexless marriage with a significant other who has probably gained so much weight she's picked up additional moons in orbit. It's just so savage and sad, in my opinion, because these men are trapped.
Yeah.
They're literally trapped there, and they believe these things like, oh, happy wife, happy life. It's cheaper to keep her. You only live once that you remember.
There
And
you
if
go.
you're stuck in a horrible situation like that, get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, in my opinion.
Oh, you're correct.
That is just sad.
But of course, how does this stunning and brave, totally real scientist, because psychology is a real science, how do they decide to look into it? Well, here it is. With women increasingly able to choose their destiny.
Okay.
You've
Well, they can.
you misspelled betrayal, selfishness, all of these things that tend to lead to women in their 50s and 60s being divorced after crushing a man into the dust in divorce and family court. I'm just saying, many are looking for more passionate love in their 50s and 60s. Good luck with that.
You know where you can find that, right? In the swinger camps in Florida.
Yeah. And gray divorces are spiking, whatever those are. But it isn't just middle-aged women making different choices. In college-age samples, recent studies suggest an overall decline in sexual intimacy that is clearly present in Gen Z. One may want to blame the so-called hookup culture, but the authors suggest that's not it. Depends on who they are. If this is who I think it is, Lay, there's not a shred of credibility to that. I'm just saying that's the kind of person who writes with an absolute asshat of a human being like Dan Savage. If you remember from our video on the people who open their marriages may be actually happier. The cuckolding fantasy video that we did, where the whole drinking straw fiasco came from.
Oh God.
Among other variables like financial instability, which makes you a gold digger, and playing too many video games, which means you don't want a man to have hobbies. The authors cite an inability to initiate romantic relationships as a primary contributor to the decline. The inability to initiate romantic relationships, I wonder if that could be because social media has overinflated the egos of the below average women to the point where even above average men can't approach them without getting denied because they're too short.
Correct. Yeah, listen.
Wow.
I'm envisioning, like, by 2050, it is just going to be an apocalypse of, single people.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it's just sad.
Because it's been a while since I've done this, and the charcuterie board was a really big hit. So I decided that, you know what? It's about time that I do another toxic top 10.
Okay.
And I figured, yeah, you know what? I was coming up with different names because I was trying to think, okay, how can we skirt the algorithm talking about the OF site? And then in the process, I started coming up with all these things that could be other websites. So here you go. Here's your top 10 alternatives to OF. OnlyTrans, a website for the mentally ill corn. OnlyCans, where women put canned food on their cans and eat it off. Sounds like a good time.
Or that's all you see is cans.
There you go. OnlySands, where sex on the beach, for once, the irritating cunts are literal and not figurative. OnlyDans, for women with a fetish of banging guys named Dan. OnlyFlans, obese men pulling their puds to gifts of wobbling custard dishes, is ideal for former hog slayers and people with Tourette's of the elbow. OnlyBans, a site about nothing because leftists cancel everything that's funny. OnlyVans, this is one of my favorites. The Kid Brothers site of the Bang Bus, only this time the van is driven by a soccer mom who will beat you with a fly swatter because until you make the chick come, she'll scream, "Are we there yet?" OnlyHands, a corn site for amputee handjob videos.
Dude, that's so fun.
That's pretty toxic.
I know, right? OnlyPans. Now, this one could be a few potential ones here. Women cooking greasy food naked for fans of burn victim corn exclusively. Or a site for pansexuals who pick their herpes scabs.
What exactly is a pansexual anyway?
Somebody who's attracted to everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, quite disgusting. And then, of course, OnlyMans, where you sign up for the gay cruise. I had fun with that.
That's funny.
And that's tonight's Toxic Top 10. Hope you guys
That was
enjoyed it.
pretty good, bro. That was pretty good.
I have fun writing those up. They're fun. When they come to me, I always get it up to a list of 10, and then I bring it to the show.
That's
I said get it up. It was bad phrasing. I'm sorry, but I always have to make
phrasing.
Boom, nailed it.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.